Hey everybody, welcome back. What you're seeing here is not organized chaos, but just chaos. How do I even explain what I've tried to... So, I struggle with one thing. And honestly, it's not organization. This looks terribly unorganized, and it is. I've got like 3 different things trying to go on at the same time to manage which one to do. Oh, by the way, welcome back to the build. This is my 69 Olds W30 442 Pro Street build. And Fred Henry and I, over at the channel called Fred Henry and I are doing one of these together. He's pro streeting the 69 Hurst Olds right there. I am pro streeting the 69, excuse me, or he's doing the 455 Hurst, and I'm doing the W30 442. I've gone a different route than Fred. Fred has gone way of the 67 Chevelle chassis, and I wanted to do something different, so I went and whacked up a right there monogram NASCAR chassis, and I've got it mated to the back half of a 66 anyway, the Nova kit, that the Nova Pro Street kit. All that's okay. Got the chassis fits great. I mean, it's like, wow, it was so wonderful. I've got the interior cut out and have been working on the back half here. It fits in there just wonderful. So once I get paint to be able to blend these 2 pieces together, that will look even better. Fits under the car wonderfully. Well, what's all the chaos from, Matthew? It's from the engine. So started off thinking about using this big old beast. This is a resin practice that I just a resin cast the transmission heads and block and all, and just wanted to have something that I could grind on, because you can see I've ground on the oil pan, the top of the transmission, to try and get it to fit in here. Someone else said, which is a great idea, and it's not out of my consideration, is use the NASCAR engine that came with the kit. Cool. Again, very much of an option. Because who wouldn't want to see a Ford 351 Windsor under the hood of an Oldsmobile? That almost sells it completely with me. Also lends the or it also has the headers and the exhaust would be a direct fit to this chassis. I wish I had a taller intake. It's got a single 4-barrel intake, and that is totally fine with me. I do like the fact that it is I might have just talked myself into this. Just to get under the skin of the GM guys, to have a Ford, oh man, classic. That is just classic. I just wish I had an intake that was taller. I would like to have something sticking out of the hood, but I could, just keep it under the hood. I don't know. And then I've got this 3D printed, also another 3D printed big block Chevy. That is the most poor so far. The 3D printed engine for this one, the real resin, it's perfect. It fits together wonderful. This is a pile of junk. I paid the same amount of money. It's a fuel injected big block Chevy, but all the pieces are not flat. So the valve covers are wavy. They don't fit right. The heads are wavy. The oil pans, everything's wavy. Just not not what I was. A lot of work would go into it to get that going. So I'm kind of leaning to the Ford. However, I do have some big block Ford. I have a big block Ford left over from something. I don't know. Got a bunch of spare parts. But I do like the fact that it's direct fit, the small block Ford. It doesn't have to be a, sticking out of the hood type of situation. Although that just makes things look more radical. But anyway, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, this is where I'm at. So I also needed an extra seat. This is the seat out of the Bob Glidden Pro Stock kit. So what I did is, let me grab it. I made a mold of that seat. You can't see much, and I also, just because I had extra room, I went ahead and molded the seat out of the. I just couldn't. I wanted to see what I could do, but I molded a NASCAR seat. So I've got the two molds here. And I also tried a couple wheels. They didn't turn out so good. But anyway, I have made some, I poured a few of the Bob Glidden seats. They turn out perfect. But my mixture of, I tried to mix the resin a little so it would harden slower, and it did not cure hard enough. So the seats were sort of soft. So I'm going to pour a couple of extra seats. So I've got the, I'll have my two seats like I want. So now what I'm working on is which engine. I'm kind of leaning toward the Ford, just because you see so many Chevy, or so many Fords with Chevy stuff in it. But you don't see a lot of Fords or Chevy stuff or General Motors stuff with Ford stuff in it. Why is that? Well, some would say that the Chevy stuff is more available. It's cheaper. When I say cheaper, not like cheaper in garbage, but cheaper in price. It is, because my nephew and I are working on his 351 Windsor, rebuilding it, and the parts are much more expensive than if we were building a 350 Chevy. So when you see a person that's got a Ford Mustang and they've got a small block Chevy in it, I would say it's due to not horsepower, although the Chevy guys are going to be like, oh yeah, you can make more horsepower. No, I think it's due to the fact that you can build those much more inexpensive, and they're just as reliable. A Chevy engine's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But I want to be a little unorthodox with everything that I do. That's why I didn't use the 67 Chevy. I'm like, I want to do something different, and that's why I want to do an Olds instead of a Chevelle. It's because I'm the kind of guy, if everyone gets something, I want something different. I'm just not a cookie cutter. Not that everyone's a cookie cutter. I don't want to give a false impression that I'm better than anybody. No, I always have this, I want to have something different. If everybody wears Nike Air Jordans, I want to get something from Reebok. So that's just me. But anyway, just rambling on here. All right, so I'm going to get busy again. This is part 2 of this video, and we're going to see where I end up with this thing. Stand by. Alright, so I have come to a conclusion on my engine dilemma, and believe it or not, the last segment of this video, when I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do the big block Chevy, small block Ford? This thought never came into my mind, but right after that segment, it kind of hit me, and I'm like, just make it work. And I just went ahead and because, let me back up a little bit, because I know if you put something forward in a General Motors vehicle, it will bug the mess out of a lot of people. And I'm not doing it to bug people. I'm doing it to be different. So I've ground, I've cut, I've nearly got the chassis cut, the front cut off of it for header clearance, but I'm going to do that. So I built this resin 429 Boss a while back. It was just a resin. It's a cool engine, and it is massive as far as physical size. And I thought, you know what, you might as well just go ahead and try to shoehorn it in there. It took more than a shoehorn. It took a Dremel tool and lots of cutting. I'm going to have to figure out how to, let me try to get the body off here for a second. Hold on, sorry. Okay, I'm going to have to figure, I did get it to fit with the headers. Holy cow, that is the wildest looking engine ever. But anyway, and I don't know of a breather system. If I just leave the injectors open like that, I don't know. But I got the got it mangled up good enough so the headers, the headers that came with it will fit. However, I've got to go in here and stiffen up the front end because it's nearly cut in two. So I think I'm going to come in here with some round stock or some round styrene and go maybe angle over. I got to put the control arms are off too. I've got to shorten them. They just wouldn't work that well. They may actually work now, but I didn't think they would. I got to get them back on. Wouldn't want it to not have upper control arms, you know, wouldn't handle that great. But anyway, I'm going to probably have to come from the firewall here down to the chassis to add additional strength. Actually for strength, not for looks. Because again, the way I've had to brutally hack this this chassis up. I mean, it looks terrible right now. I'm going to clean it up because the bit that I use on my Dremel is kind of rough. But it lost all strength up front, which is no problem. You know, the more I'm beginning to think about this kit bashing thing, the easier it gets, because it's like it's a piece of plastic. It's literally a piece of plastic. It has no mechanical ability about it. That's another thing that I've got to get through my mind. No mechanical ability at all. And I can make it work however I want to, as long as it looks halfway decent. I have seen some hideous looking stuff before. And I've done some hideous looking stuff as a kid. But yeah, I can stiffen this up. I can run some styrene across to add additional strength, because that firewall is sure enough sturdy. And no, we would never brace off the firewall, but that's what I'm going to do. So at first it was going to be a big block Chevy, which I was like, that's not very different. That just fits the mold of General Motors. Then I was like, yeah, the Ford, yeah, that'll be awesome. But I was like, but it's not radical at all. It's just basically a single carbureted engine. And then I was like, let's do it. So the headers are fatties, little fatties, man. And I was going to try and remake them, but I was able to get them to work. So oh man, how cool is this? I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's just been a shelf piece is all it's been. It's been up on the shelf. It's been right over. It's been right in front of the 240s and the Thunderbolt. It's just been sitting on the shelf right there. Been waiting for this day. And now it has found a home in a General Motors product. Yes. So it's going to have a hacked up hood, because it's got a lot that's going to be sticking out of the hood. And this is a great milestone. Great milestone for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stiffen up the chassis, add some more to that. But yeah, so I'm just going to, there's not much progress done really on this section of the video, or this segment. This is going to be part 2. I'm not going to run these things super long. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stiffen the chassis. I'm going to get it more securely fitted. It won't be in there yet because I've got a lot of other stuff to do. I've got to prep my body and get my chassis and interior painted. But I'm super happy with making the choice to put the Boss in this. Let me get this body back on here one more time so we can see it. So I've got to do some adjustment. The radiator support on the radiator support is going to be a little bit interfering with my this is just not going to work out, guys, with one hand. But my radiator support is going to interfere a little bit with the blower belt, so we'll probably have to move that a little. And the radiator, fortunately, I will be able to use the radiator that came with the NASCAR kit. I don't really have a fan, electric fan. I don't know, maybe if I found an electric fan. At this point, I really don't care if it has a cooling fan or not. There's not a lot of room left because of this behemoth. But I got one spark plug wire that came loose right there, so I got to get that back attached. I'm hoping that the MSD ignition that's on the and I hope that my camera work is not making any of you angry, all the movement that I have. But it's setting up way higher than it will at this point. It's just because the engine is sitting on the floor, on the table. But anyway, I hope that the distributor doesn't stick through the hood. If it does, oh well, I'll cut it out. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Good idea, bad idea, cool idea? What about breathers? Those generally you wouldn't just drive a street. Well, I'll take that back. I have seen some. I take what back, Matthew? You never even finished your sentence. Would you drive it around with open? See, I know what I'm thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. Would you drive it around with no air breathers? Well, people do it all the time when they have the blown injected. You know, with the 3 butterflies, they drive those around. I guess if you got enough money to have you got enough money to rebuild it. So maybe we'll just leave them open. Maybe I'll just leave I think I will. I think that'll be cool. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hey, if you hadn't already subscribed, hit the subscription button. Or the subscribe button, yeah. Subscribe button, that sounds better. Also, go to the Facebook group. Join our Facebook group, Model Car Videos Facebook group. Great place to ask questions, show your builds, so on and so forth. Go check out Hobby Nut Models. Go get some great MCW paint that I'm going to be painting this baby with. I don't know what. Oh yes, I do know what color. And can't wait. It's going to be dark. And yeah, so that's all the progress I got. Thanks for all you guys do and your support. Thanks for you guys that purchased off Teespring, and you guys that are my Patreon members. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. If you want to be a member of the Patreon, go in the description of this video, and all the things I've spoken of will be linked there. But anyway, guys, you guys take care, and hey, maybe on the next segment we'll see this thing maybe cranked and running. That would be cool. All right, guys, take care. Bye.